Hey guys! Today we're gonna make bread. The last recipe I had 7 years ago was the bread machine recipe, and we've kept pretty close to that recipe through the years as our, foundation. The bread recipe I want to do for you guys today is in the oven, and it's actually the way my daughter did it while she was in grad school and in college as well. And I thought it was really a good one because it shows us how to make the bread if we have limited time, but we don't have a bread machine. And of course, for those of you bakers who love to watch your bread rise and you have time for all that, well then, you can always adjust the recipe. But today we're gonna let our yeast mixture rise, then we're gonna compile it, mix it, and put it in the oven for 45 minutes. Okay, let's get going. For your yeast, dry activated yeast, 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, and we're gonna put 1.5 cups of warm water. We mix that yeast up with the water, and let's not forget our sugar. I have 2 tablespoons of sugar for each of these yeast mixtures, and now we're gonna set them aside, let them rise. So I'm gonna remember that the red bottomed bowl is the first one, brown rice and oat. So for each of the recipes, we'll have 1 tablespoon of xanthan gum, okay? We'll have 1 teaspoon of salt. Here we go with our flours. So for each of these mixtures, I'm gonna put in 1 cup of tapioca. So we're gonna put 1.5 cups of brown rice, and let's make sure we level that off. 1/2 cup. That one's easier. I can stick that right in the bag. And 1/2 cup. And then the other 1/2 cup I'm gonna use in this first recipe is 1/2 cup of oat flour. Mix that up a little bit. Perfect. The second recipe, 1/2 cup brown rice, 1 cup brown rice equaling 1.5 cups of brown rice. I'll make sure I did that right. I could probably use a little tiny bit more. That's more like it. 1.5 cups of the brown rice, and now 1/4 cup of sorghum and 1/4 cup of millet. 1/4 of millet, and here's my sorghum. 1/4 cup. Mix that guy around. And now, gotta just wait for that yeast to rise. The yeast is looking good and it's only been a few minutes. That's really good. So I think I'm gonna continue on. So we are doing this recipe this way when after so many years I'm used to doing it in the bread machine, but in the bread machine you always put the wet ingredients on the bottom. So today's a little different for me. So we have the dry ingredients that we just compiled together. And each of these recipes obviously is gonna call for our 3 eggs, which I always crack separately to make sure everything is good with them. So 3 eggs. And for each recipe, also calls for 1/4 cup of oil. You can use avocado oil, but I use extra virgin olive oil. And I'm gonna put it in the next recipe. All right, so we have all that. And let's start off with one of our yeast mixtures that has more than doubled in size. And we'll put that in and we'll mix away. So also make sure you always scrape out whatever is left. Get all of the yeast mixture in your mixing bowl. Clean those beaters off on the side of your bowl. Try to get as much as you can off of your beater. And it looks very well mixed. It was less than a minute of mixing. And looks really good. My oven is preheated at 350 already as we're doing this. So everything looks really good with this first recipe. I like to use these silicone pans too. They're not quite as narrow as the regular loaf pans that we're used to using, but easy to pop out. I mean, the bread recipe just pops right out. Just to let you know, I was thinking about the flours that I sometimes try to use. I try to get as much protein in them, but also I want a good fiber content, because I remember way back when gluten-free breads had no fiber in them at all, and that's not our diet. We need some fiber. So the oat has about 2 grams of fiber. Millet has I think it's 3. But if you ever are interested in adding extra fiber to your meals, if you don't do oats, there's other fibers out there that are great. But I just happen to have in the pantry right now some oat fiber, and it adds 3 fibers, and it is a teaspoon. So I think I'm gonna add that into my recipe. I think I'm gonna do it. I'll add it in the second recipe that we have here. Let's just have some fun. This recipe, we haven't added anything, the first one. But let's go ahead and add that to the one where we had sorghum and millet. Let's make it a high fiber. And double, so we'll add that right in and we'll get mixing. So I'm gonna make sure we get all that off of the paddles, like before. Scrape the sides and into my loaf pan. How am I gonna make sure I know which is which? My toothpicks, my handy dandy toothpicks, are gonna go in the rice flour and the oat, which was our red bowl, if you remember from before. Red bottomed bowl. So I'm pretty happy with this. This looks great. I'm really looking forward to tasting that second loaf of bread. I already know what the brown rice, tapioca, and the oat flour tastes like, but I'm interested to see what the sorghum, the millet, brown rice with an extra added teaspoon of oat fiber tastes like. Let's see, in 45 minutes we'll know. So here's a little FYI about protein and fiber if you wanted to know. Okay, brown rice flour for a 1/4 cup. You have 1 fiber, but 3 proteins. For oat flour, you have for a 1/4 cup, 2 fibers, 3 proteins. And for the millet, you have 3 fibers and 4 proteins. Let's check out what the sorghum is too. And for the sorghum, same 1/4 cup, it's 2 fibers and 3 proteins. So you see how you can really change up your recipe and the nutrients that are going in when you delve a little bit outside of the comfort zone of the white rice flour or the brown rice flour. And then you can also add, flax like we did today, and we added that 1 teaspoon and we got those 3 fibers. No protein, but fiber. Seeing it firsthand like I am, guys. Wow. That looks great. Look at those beauties. I just want to say, you look good. Brown rice, tapioca, 1/2 cup of oat. Brown rice, sorghum, millet, and a teeny bit of fiber. Nice and firm. Oh, looking forward to tasting those. Well, they look like they fell a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Do you think that's gonna stop me from eating them? Heck no. Sorry about the breathing in the background. Nala just came back from her walk. That dog needs her walks. All right, let's take a look at this one. This is the sorghum, the millet, brown rice. It is very nice. Oh, still a little warm, but if you can see, we are definitely have aerated. It's a little thick, so, What do you think, Nala? Taste is amazing. I don't know. It's a little moist on the bottom. I don't think it would have cooked longer. I just think it's dense. It's really good. And I am envisioning this with a little bit of almond butter or sunflower butter. What you need? You need me? Oh. You just watching me? You want some of this bread? Come on, put your hand in. That's a gluten hand. Let me know what it tastes like. Real feed, real time.
It's got good flavor.
Does have good flavor. But you can tell it's a little heavy.
A little heavy.
Yeah,
a little moist.
It's moist. I don't think it would have needed more cooking time. I just think it's just a dense flour. We had some dense flour. Okay, so that is a sorghum. Let's take a look into the brown rice, tapioca, and oat. It's still warm again, like I said. Now you can see that one is definitely airy. Oh, it's still, you want this one too, don't you? You want the end piece?
Yep.
I knew it. This is my husband, who is not afraid of gluten, nor is his intestines. I mean, this one is fantastic. It's a little airier. But you know what? I would not throw sorghum, millet, and a little bit of oat fiber out the window. I would totally enjoy that, feel like I'm eating something healthy. I'm always gonna opt for more nutrients in these breads, but guys, these are fantastic. We're gonna slice these and we're gonna freeze them. I'm sure we're gonna have some with dinner. I'm deciding to make some turkey meatballs tonight. We can make a little garlic bread out of that. Lots of options. Fantastic. I'm so glad we did this recipe today in the oven. My loaves are also flatter, remember, because I'm using that wider loaf pan. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy this. Not so bad. I was able to cook it in an hour and 20 minutes with and even taping, so you can do it at home. Have a great day. Happy gluten-free baking. I think Nala thinks she's gonna get some of my sorghum millet with butter. Sorry, girl. You're gonna have to stick to your dog bones. This is for Mama.